What's going on YouTube, my renegades? Today, we're going to be bringing you something brand new. If any of y'all have ever seen my other channel, I primarily do unboxing and other, I don't know, more acculturated nerd type items, but I also like doing a lot of discussion type items. I like covering the news. I like educating people, especially at work, because a lot of people are uneducated heathens, if you will, and I started looking at a lot of different things. And it kind of blows my mind how little people actually knows or how much they'll actually research. So I'm going to start bringing, I don't know how often I'll do this, but little segments of news and stuff. But I wanted to bring something closer to home, kind of, for me. A lot of these subjects will be more personal towards my views, my beliefs, my opinions, obviously. But I think I'm going to steer more towards the military side of things and what's going on, not just the country, because I think as a whole, this country just really needs a big helping hand for a lot of things, and it's something that's I don't want to get involved with because I have no opinion or view that will fix it. It's kind of like the the San Bernardino shooting that just occurred last week versus the United flight catastrophe deal where the guy got yanked off the flight, and that's more people know and pay attention to and care about the United flight as opposed to San Bernardino, which I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize for anyone who was involved. Seriously. But it depresses me and it saddens me that more people are worried about some guy getting pulled off a plane because of a mistake due to a flight company, which I'm not saying they're in the right, so don't try to get me at that point. It's nowhere near that. I think the whole situation was messed up. It could have been avoided. It could have been taken apart in a completely different set of circumstances, and everyone should have just backed down. But the fact that people only focused on that, or more focused on something like that than a shooting, that involved people because it was such a different scenario, and it's mind-blowing. So that's kind of why I started wanting to talk about a lot of this stuff. And I keep making gestures with my hands, but you can't see them. Wow. My green screen is really jacked up, so my body looks very weird. I'll try to fix it. I'm sorry. It's my lighting in the room for anyone that bothers. But regardless, getting off track here. But I wanted to start covering a segment, maybe a few times a week. I might move it up more. Who knows? But I wanted to talk more about real-life scenarios involving military veterans. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It could be just real-life scenarios, but just things that are more personal to me, I guess. So this one is going to be interesting because a lot of people hate Trump and a lot of people like Trump. I mean, at the end of the day, he is my commander-in-chief. I am active duty Navy, so I can't be against his will, if you will. I can have my own opinions, but at the end of the day, he is still technically my boss. So that set aside, opinion set aside from most people. Well, that's not really opinion; it's a fact. Come correctly with your opinions. Be respectful of your opinions if you're going to comment or bring anything to light, because understand that everyone was raised differently and they all perceive things differently. So, but this is a step in the right direction for a lot of my veteran. I have a lot of friends that have gotten out of the military. So let me go ahead and swap cameras over. Okay. Sorry. So my big thing is medical and dental for veterans, and that's a scary thought for a lot of people getting out of the military, because people find themselves stuck forever in the military, or at least they do 20 to retire, solely for the fact that they are scared to go in the real world and get real health care. I'm at that point kind of in my career. I'm at the weird limbo of I'm almost halfway there, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? So this is saying that the VA is being more helpful towards military. And the VA is a great idea and a great system, but it needs a lot of help. For any of y'all who are not from major military communities, you don't see it as much, right? So the major military communities, at least Navy-wise, would be Washington, Southern California, Southern Virginia, and Connecticut, right? Those are the probably the four biggest ones we have. We have more spread out across the world. Those are probably the four biggest active user bases, like not just bases, but in general. So a lot of the VAs are focused around there. The problem with the VAs being focused around those areas is nobody, for the most part, nobody wants to live there when you retire or when you get out of the military. You want to move away, you want to go back home to your family, whatever. But let's say you get out and you had a disability. Let's say you had PTSD because, something happened overseas. Let's say you had kidney stones or whatever it may be, something that medically separated you, or something that happened in the military that you need medical care for. Well, then you have to go through the VA system. That way you're not being overly charged for everything, which everybody's not going to agree with this, but most people agree that most veterans deserve some type of good medical system to help accommodate them. They put their life on the lines. In return, they get medical. I think that's a fairly good trade as a whole. I'm not saying that everyone does the same job, because I don't fight on the front lines. I know friends who do. I know guys who have gone and served on the front lines over Afghanistan, Iraq, Djibouti, you name it. But that's beyond the point. The point here is, should veterans in the military get better health care and have a better choice of where to live? And this is where Trump is kind of addressing this. Trump turns focus to veterans, signs extension for choice in health care. So the old system had you basically stick near a major city for VA benefits. So some people would drive, 2, 4, 10 hours to get medical assistance, and that's just not feasible, especially once you get older. Let's say you're wheelchair bound or whatever, which granted, that is a very small percentage of the overall military and really the overall population that is, but you still want to accommodate those people. It's no different than having handicap parking at a Walmart parking lot. You have it to accommodate them, even though it's a smaller percentage that's there. You want to take care of those people because you don't know why they're handicapped. You don't know what happened, what caused it. Well, in the military, we do, and we want to support them and give them the help they need. And this is a way to accommodate them. So forgive me reading straight off a piece of paper. I'm not the best with. I'll try to briefly go through this or whatever. President Trump took one of his first steps Wednesday to address the chronic problems in the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, by signing a bill that extends stoppage services for veterans to go outside of the VA medical system for care. After campaigning on the issue of improving substandard care for veterans that dogged President Obama, Mr. Trump signed a reauthorization of the Veterans Access, Choice, and Accountability Act and announced he would devote a press conference to veteran issues next week. So we're going to stop there for a second. He actually talked about it. They had a live video. That's how I found all this. And I'm going to put the links in the description if I can remember for the video. Obviously, give credit to this. This is for the Washington Times. This is one of the best articles I had for explaining it, to explain where we were versus where we are now. So go with me. Anyways, the veterans have poured out their sweat, blood, and tears for this country for so long, and it's time they recognize, and it's time we now take care of them and take care of them properly, Mr. Trump said. The Choice program was set up to expire in August of this year, without the legislation and nearly $1 billion unspent in the account. $1 billion. Think about that. Hold that number in mind. Congress developed the program after a scandal erupted in 2014 during the Obama administration over waiting times at the VA Medical Center in Phoenix, where dozens of veterans died waiting for care. That's absurd. I gotta get water for a second. Forgive me. All right. People died waiting for medical care because they had to go through the VA system. That's not right. And that goes across the entire country, not just the VA system. It is absurd that people cannot get medical care because of money, because of whatever it may be. I got it. Doctors, nurses, all that stuff. My girlfriend is a she's not a registered nurse. She's a medical assistant. And I got it. It's hard to deal with all these people every single day. Half the people, well, I wouldn't even say half. There's a certain percentage of people that come in that are just addicted to medication, that just want it or whatever. And then that hurts the people who legitimately need the help, right? She had a situation where a lady was coming in coughing up blood and wasn't taken care of for 4 months, guys. 4 months. That's absurd. It shouldn't matter what the cost is. If someone comes in with a legitimate illness, and they are unable to pay due to circumstances, i.e., single parent, loss of job within a 6-month span. I think that unemployment should be a 6-month window, which we'll get into a whole other video later. Whatever, something along those lines, right? If they come in and need medical assistance, we should cover them as a country and as a government. That's where a lot of the money should be going. I know, completely off topic and a completely different subject, but this kind of goes together because this hurts, because I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, and that is one of the biggest veterans area probably across the U.S., because you have Millington, which is an old retired base, the VA out there, and the American Legion is a huge, huge part of the community, right? I used to go every Christmas to the VA hospital and create Christmas baskets for these people in the hospital. We would go around, it was just like socks and beanies and stuff like that, just nice little things, and you'd bring them to these people that are bedridden and sick and hurt and injured, and it would change their world. They were the happiest people you'd ever seen in your life. I can't describe to you the feeling it gives you, how amazing it makes you feel to give back to these people. And all you did was walk around a room and collect these items in a basket and give them to them. We didn't provide money. We didn't provide the items. All these other companies had donated them or went out and bought it with their money to donate it to the VA. That's a small portion of things that you can give back with, right? So, all my life I grew up seeing stuff like this and seeing these people in terrible medical care. And the problem is the VA was so packed and so undermanned that it hurt them. And that's where we're getting at with this, is where it's a way to branch out so people are, number one, forced to live within a VA distance, a reasonable distance from a VA to be assisted. Now they can go and live with family, let's say hospice care, whatever it may be. Now they can be taken care of. And two, now it relieves some of the stress from the VA, so that way they can get the people to where they need to be. Maybe they have a better specialist somewhere else. Maybe someone has lung cancer and there's a specialist that can help them and get them set up better equipped than the VA ever could be. So it'll take better care of them. All right, so let's get back into this. Sorry. Veterans groups say legislation is needed, but the Congress and Trump administration need to do so much. And sorry, my mouse is all crazy. They need more doctors. They need more they need nurses. Fact. Says Gary Augustine, president of the 1.3 million member disabled veterans, American veterans. There's a lot of things mentioned right now that are moving in a positive direction, but it's the second largest bureaucracy in the government. They don't change it overnight, which is true. This is not going to be an instant overnight, but it needs to be addressed correctly. So, providing care to the nation's roughly 21 million veterans has challenged previous administrations and sometimes has caused major political headaches for presidents who don't adequately address problems in the VA. President George W. Bush feuded with fellow Republicans who accused him of not increasing funding enough for the VA as veterans returned from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's probably one of the biggest things, is you have this huge number of service members coming back from war, and I don't care who you are. To go over there and watch some of the stuff that happens, it will mess you up in the head. There are kids who are suicide bombers. There are so many things. I was personally involved in 2011 with Somalian pirates, with our ship chasing them down and trying to defend Americans, and an entire family was slaughtered, including an 8-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl. And when they brought them aboard the ship, they respectfully covered them with white sheets and stuff to carry them on board. And you could still see the blood marks through the sheets from the bullet holes. And it actually messed up a lot of people on our ship. It really did. And the people who are doing these horrendous things are just kids. They're teenagers and equivalents. So, completely off topic, I guess, for the ages, but the point is people see things, they do things that will mess them up, and this isn't, limbs getting removed, bombs exploding, bullet holes. This is just mental. Could you even imagine the people who suffer from injuries while in the military from just some of the simplest things? Anyways, let's keep pushing forward. Mr. Obama pledged to eliminate the backlog of disability and pension claims. His administration reduced it from about 600,000 to 100,000, but failed to eliminate the mountain of pending claims by the time he left office in January. Cutting into the claims backlog also resulted in a dramatic rise in the number of appeals to a current backlog of about 450,000. Mr. Obama fired his first VA secretary, Eric K. Shinseki. I don't know how to say it, sorry. In the wake of the scandal over delayed care, the Obama administration also was beset with unresolved problems of whistleblower retaliation, wasteful employee bonuses, and the failure to hold accountable managers found to have engaged in wrongdoing. So embezzlement, basically, at this point. Our higher up government, who would ever think, took money from those who needed it, especially for healthcare, for their own benefits, so they can fill their six-figure a year paychecks. Garbage. During Mr. Obama's presidency, funding for the VA rose about 85%, although some of that increase was a result in a rise of total number of veterans who qualified for mandatory benefits. In fiscal year 2017, which fiscal year starts, at least military side, in October of the preceding year, so October of 16, which led into 17. But anyways, the VA budget was $182.3 billion, including $78.7 billion in discretionary spending. Discretionary spending. Get out of here. Mr. Trump campaigned hard to improve services for veterans, saying the treatment by the previous administration was a disgrace. Our veterans, in many cases, are being treated worse than illegal immigrants. The president proposed a 6% boost in the VA budget for fiscal year 2018. The VA is one of the few federal agencies slated for the increase in Mr. Trump's first budget. That's a huge thing to think about too, because I know he's been cutting a lot of bills. A lot of people are upset, but they're not understanding where he's pushing things. And that's, again, I don't want to get in that debate right now, but just understand, if he's pushing the VA system, like, it's a man of pretty good monetary intelligence. If he's pushing a certain program, I would have to think of its importance. Just think about that. He knew it was being done to improve it because there was improvement going on under. Wow, sorry, that was a bad sentence. Going on under Mr. McDonnell and Sloan Gibson. Now he's continued the progression that was being made. So we're going to quit reading right there. If you want to keep reading this, again, it's under the Washington Times. I don't want to get too further in depth because it's basically understanding. I was just trying to get you to see the numbers and understanding what he's trying to push, right? So understand, as a whole, this country is messed up. We're an amazing country. We're, quote unquote, the best country in the world and all this other stuff. I got it. I gung ho, support your country. And I'm very supportive of it. I'm supportive of the military. Obviously, I'm in it. The problem is where we have our priorities. A lot of people set their priorities to what's in social media, to what's on TV, to what's in front of them and the here and now. What can I wear to look popular? Why does this boy not like me? Why won't this woman give me any attention? Will this make me look fat? Why am I not in great physical shape? Whatever it may be. It's just so absurd. What should be focused on is things like this. And I'm blown away that Trump really pushed this, because I've heard rumors about it, but I didn't know how far it was going. And again, this really doesn't technically affect me as a person right now. I have no medical disabilities. I'm in perfect health. I'm still active duty. So the VA system technically doesn't apply to me right now. Cool. I work with TRICARE and all that stuff. For any of you who don't know military, TRICARE is our main source for medical and dental. And so this doesn't pertain to me right now, but one day it could. And I don't want to get down when I'm retiring and I'm sitting there one day and I'm sick and I don't get the help I need because I don't live near a VA system. If I retire or get separated due to medical conditions, which, as of right now, who knows? Tomorrow I may get kicked out of the Navy because, I punched someone in the face. Who knows? You never know with your career. The point is this is the right direction we need to move to giving back to what this country is, what it should be. Am I saying that every war we fought was correct or every reasoning for fighting a war was correct? No. Am I saying that we are an untouchable country that is better than everyone else? No. Am I saying that we need to fix the bigger picture of things for people who've given more to us? Yes. People serve in the military most of the time because they want to go to college and it's a way to pay for it, or they want to support their family or whatever it may be, right? A lot of the people being affected by the VA system right now are those people who joined initially to provide a paycheck to their family, to be able to go to college and basically further their life to do better. And in return, because they serve, they end up going to war. They end up going to somewhere they wouldn't normally go to defend all of us sitting at home. You think about that, and I'm not saying we're righteous. We're not. We're not doing this because, well, a vast majority of us don't do this because they're like, yeah, I love my country. Let's go shoot a gun at someone who's bad to make sure they don't come over here. No, a lot of us do our job because we want to earn a paycheck. And that's the realest answer any of us can give you. But they did their time. They made sure that the people who didn't serve, who are not ever going to serve, can sit at home going on social media wondering, does this make me look fat? Why does this boy not like me? Why does this girl not like me? Whatever it may be. You get to be home and I want to call it selfish, but it's not selfish. You can sit at home in your selfish ways while someone else is making sure that you can do it. And I say selfish because the vast majority of us, including myself, are more worried about ourselves than others around us. And that's just the truth. That's how that's our mentality as people, as human beings. That's all it is. But understand that these veterans deserve health care. They deserve anything they need to be helped with. I'm not saying they deserve a paycheck every month. That way they can go spend it wherever they want. No. I think they should go to a medical facility with proper paperwork to show that they are veterans, and then they shall be covered by the government, and they should reappropriate the money that was going into the system and be further funded out correctly because what was it? The 245 or something like that? Give me a sec. I gotta look through this. $182 billion, right? $182 billion. That's a lot of money, but a lot of it is going to things you don't think about, which is medical treatment, research, obviously staffing for people, and including paying the bills for people because chemo's not cheap. And that's probably one of the biggest things that go on in this country is cancer, probably heart attacks, high blood pressures, things of that nature, the very standard stuff. And that's not cheap by any means. So this is basically a better reappropriation of money and getting them the correct care that they require. And again, I'm not saying the system is not broken because it's probably going to have issues just like anything else. The idea of this is to make sure these people, these veterans, get the help they want at a more appropriate facility or within a facility that they feel comfortable. And that's awesome. And I applaud you, Mr. Trump, for doing that. I know a lot of people are probably going to hate this, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. But just, if you're going to comment on this, remember to be respectful of anybody else who comments below because all of us have different opinions. We're all raised differently. And at the end of the day, that's what makes us as a country great because we're different opinions and we feed off of each other to learn and to progress and to make this world a better place, right? So food for thought, take it for you today. I know this is a long one, but it was one of those that kind of hit close to home. I've been thinking about doing videos like this for a while, but this one was a big one. I was scrolling through Facebook of all things, social media. Ooh, I just talked about it, but I was scrolling through and I saw someone post and I was like, wow, this is pretty incredible. So think about it, guys. I want y'all to have a great and wonderful evening or day or whenever you're watching this, really, because you could be watching this first thing in the morning. Who knows? But have a great day. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos related to this. And again, hopefully the rants won't be so long. They're just an understanding type video. And hopefully I remember to put the links in the description. It'll probably be a couple of days after recording this to actually post it because I want to go through the footage and edit and all that stuff. But either way, guys, hope you have a great day. Bye.